Next up, connecting a phone to the vehicle is a very straightforward process, and it's the exact same process on the Android and the iPhone side of things, but we're going to start off on the iPhone side. So what we're going to do is just hit Add Phone.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
There we go, and we're just looking for Lincoln Corsair. So we're just going to hit Lincoln Corsair.
The pin displayed on sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
Pins match up, and you would want to allow contacts and favorites to sync.
Stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
All right, so there we go. Now we've got a few different options that are available there. So we've got our 911 assist. Always recommend turning that one on. One of the big benefits there is that if we are connected over Bluetooth, if we're ever in an accident and the vehicle recognizes it, it's going to automatically dial 911 for us. Automatic contact downloads. When the vehicle recognizes new contacts, do we want it to download, yes or no? And we're just going to hit finish there. So we're fully connected now. We've got my recent call list, contacts, my phone, we can change phones, we've got my keypad and Siri. And that's one of the great things because we can also press and hold the voice command prompt on the steering wheel if we want to be able to activate our Siri assistant. So it's pretty straightforward. I'll show you that I didn't press it myself. We just press and hold the button on the steering wheel. As you can see there, Siri turns on, and there we go. So it is amazing that we've got that flexibility through this screen. But that's the basics of setting up a phone. Now, if we go back into audio for a second and we look at sources, we've got my phone connected, but we've got Live One, which is a radio app. So certain apps will work directly through this middle screen. I know that Pandora is another radio app that will work, but Spotify, you have to connect over Bluetooth and just stream audio that way. You unfortunately don't have the flexibility of looking at that as an entertainment source, and it's the same way as YouTube. So YouTube videos won't be playable directly through this middle screen, but you will be able to play the audio via Bluetooth instead, looking at YouTube Music. Well, we jump back into our base phone there, and we've got our base options. We can go into our settings and look at our phone now in a series of other options. So we can view connected devices. We can manage contacts. We've got our ringtone, messaging. If we want to get a roaming warning or a battery notification, we can do that as well. So we connect into the device and we can either disconnect or we can completely remove it. But it's that simple setting up an iPhone. And then setting up Apple CarPlay is also very straightforward. So what we're going to do, take a USB cable and we're going to plug it into that USB port along the very bottom there. Opposite end of the cable, we're just going to plug ourselves in. Apple CarPlay. Let's continue. We have to agree. It should take a few seconds there. And do we want to allow CarPlay while the phone is locked? Yes, we want to allow that. And as you can see, fully connected. So we've got my phone, we've got Apple Maps, we've got Google Maps, and we've got Waze. And we can use all of these things directly through this middle screen. So if you don't want to rely on factory navigation, if you like Waze or Google Maps better instead, you've got the flexibility to use it. We've got our favorites. We can also search for an address this way. We can search through by pressing this button there instead. Moving back, we can also adjust. We can move as necessary. And as you can see there, the 401 is bad right now. Ooh, that's not nice. Ooh, that's not nice. I gotta travel back home in this. But this is nice because we can see exactly what's going on there. Moving back, so we press this button along the very back in order to get to this main screen. But a series of different options that are available. Now, if you ever need to get out of the Apple CarPlay side of things to jump back into Sync 3, we just press this Lincoln button. And as you can see there, it brings us back into the screen. Because we're connected through CarPlay, the icons along the bottom are now slightly different. But we can press either or, so we hop back into CarPlay this way if we want to. And then we can also hot button press to get into our maps again, just based off of the last launched map application. We've got our available podcasts, so we can listen now, we can browse, we can look at our library if we want to. We can jump back home again very simply. We've got our audiobooks and then a number of other options that are available. But one of the great things is that you also have the flexibility to be able to adjust and customize the tray itself. So if you're a bigger fan of listening to podcasts and things like that first, or podcasts, I should say, you've got the flexibility to adjust it as necessary. So watch this. So we're going to go into our phone and we're going to get to our, so Sync 3. So we're going to go, here, let me show you how. So we're going to go CarPlay. Oh, wrong one. CarPlay. We're going to go Sync 3. Customize, and now all we have to do is just do a drag and drop, and it's going to dynamically update for us. So we go into different options. If you want your audiobooks and things like that there, we can get rid of the calendar if we want to. If you're never going to listen to audiobooks, we can remove that. And it brings it to the bottom tray here, which if we've played around with this too much, we don't like what we've done, we can just do a reset in order to bring it back to our factory default screen instead. So you can see there, right back home. Press this button again in order to be able to get back to this main screen. So it's that simple to do it. If we go back home now, we've got a few other options. So we cycle through and we've got Apple CarPlay. We've got my phone there, so we can connect my phone. We can temporarily disable CarPlay. So you see the notifications change there. So my phone is actually charging up while we're not connected. So I'm connected not over Bluetooth yet because I haven't reconnected yet. Or I can completely remove my phone from CarPlay specifically. Now if we jump back into phone again, it's launched me right back into my phone there. So it has reconnected me over Bluetooth, and we can see all my different contacts and things like that. So in order to remove a phone, it's also straightforward. So if we're on our phone button there, no way to do it through this screen. We just go settings, we scroll across to our phone, we view devices, we connect to my phone, and then we can disconnect or we can completely remove it. But I'm just going to leave it connected for now, just for this specific test. But it's that simple to be able to connect an iPhone to the vehicle. All right, now, setting up an Android device is the exact same process, so very straightforward. All we're going to do is, if we're not on this screen, let's say if we're on this main screen, home screen, whatever the case may be, we can't change it in our phone unless we go to this change phone button there, which is nice and handy. So very straightforward. So on our phone, all we're going to do is we're actually first going to hit add Bluetooth
Search
device.
for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
And we're just going to press scan along the top there, and we're just waiting for it to show up along the bottom. There we go. So we've got our Lincoln Corsair, and we just connect through. So we just press the button there.
Confirm that the pin displayed on sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
Pins and numbers match up,
For
which is
your
great.
safety, please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
Okay, so that's straightforward. So we can allow access to messages, which I'm going to deny for now, and we can now set it as a favorite phone. So if you've got multiple phones connected, you can set one of them as the favorite if you want to. I'm going to show you how to do that just in case we skip this one accidentally. So we're just going to hit finish, and we're fully connected now. Now, if we hit phone again, we can view devices, and we've got both phones that are connected. If we want to, we can connect to that media instead. We can close out, we can go to the Galaxy, we can disconnect, or we can make this one the favorite instead. So it's which one gets connection priority. So if both phones are in the vehicle, which one is it going to try to connect to first? So you've got a few different options available there. Moving back and again into our phone, and we are connected. So we've got this, and that. We've got our phone assistant, so if we press the voice command prompt on the steering wheel, we've got our phone assistant there. Oh, there we go. Okay, you know why? So when we're connected with a Samsung device, we've got Bixby. I don't have Bixby enabled, which is why it's not showing up there as an available option. But when we connect through Android Auto, that's when we get our Google Assistant instead. So speaking of Android Auto, let me show you how that process works. So very similar to the iPhone side of things, we're going to take our USB cable there, and we're going to plug it into that front USB port. We're going to take our other USB cable, other end of the cable, I should say, and plug it into our phone. So you can see we're charging up there and Android Auto. So we just have to unlock the phone, and we are unlocked. Perfect. We're going to continue there, and we're going to hit next. Look at how simple this is. We're going to agree, and I'm going to cancel it. I do not want to update Bixby right now. And 3, 2, 1, we are fully connected. So really that straightforward, and as you can see, launches right into Google Maps for us. Super responsive. We've got our nice pinch to zoom. We can also adjust in and out this way if we want. We can hot button press in order to get into our music. So we've got our media picks. We've also got our notification center, and we've also got our Google Assistant. So we can now press and hold the button on the steering wheel to launch into our Google Assistant instead. We can press the button there, or we can simply say, "Okay, Google," and it launches into the Assistant that way instead. We can button press here in order to get into this option, so we can look at our podcasts. We press the button along the very bottom left side in order to jump into that main screen, which should look familiar. It's very similar to what we saw on the iPhone side of things. But we don't have quite as many options, because one thing to consider, so this phone does actually have Android Auto. Well, it's got Android Auto, obviously, but it's got Waze installed. But even though it's got Waze installed, it's not an available option. So unfortunately, not every map application will work directly through this middle screen, and Android Auto, Waze is one of those options, but we at least do have Google Maps there. And one of the great things is that on our phone, we've got the flexibility to customize this. So all we do is search for Android Auto, and if we want to adjust it, we can customize very simply. So on Android Auto screen, we can customize the launcher there. But one thing to note, any changes we make, so I'm going to show you. So all we're going to do is just grab We're going to drag it to the top. It doesn't dynamically update it. We actually have to restart Android Auto on both the phone and the vehicle in order for changes to take into effect. So we have to close it down on both in order for those changes to update on the vehicle, but we still have the flexibility of customizing if we want to. We've got our Google detection. We can have our day and night mode for maps. We can also start Android Auto while the phone is locked. We've got our Google Assistant and a number of other options. Wireless Android Auto, even though the option showing there, is not compatible with the Sync 3 media screen, unfortunately. It is only available in Ford Lincoln Sync 4 system, but the Corsair does not have access to that as of yet. Hoping by next year, maybe 2024 model, we should be on Sync 4 instead of the Corsair. But overall, great feature, great functionality. Same thing to the Apple side of things. If we want to get back home, we press the Lincoln button there. That launches us back in. We can get into our Android Auto preferences again if we want to. So we can, if we want to disable it, we can remove the Galaxy. We can jump back into Android Auto there if we want. Button press to get back home. And if we go Android Auto preferences, so let's say if we've set up Android Auto, but now we don't want it anymore, we just want Bluetooth only, we can disable Android Auto there. As you can see, it's disconnected me, and at the same time, it's also charging the phone up. So we can close that out, and as you can see there, we are now disconnected through Apple CarPlay, or Android Auto I should say, but we do still have our Bluetooth connection that's active. We can jump back in to change our phone out. We can jump in here, we can disconnect, or we can completely remove. Removing the Galaxy, as you can see there, 3, 2, 1, fully disconnected. And let's simply reconnect back to the iPhone again, and 2 seconds, we are fully connected. So it's that easy in order to be able to set up an Android and iPhone device inside of this vehicle.